Warning, there may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, quick one this week because Landon and Alex need to give their picks out for the second part, and Landon had to FaceTime his grandma right now, so it's just us two. If there's enough time, if he comes back in time later, then he'll join and give his thoughts on a couple things and leave. But there's also some time. There's also some things we need to discuss that it'll be too far gone by the time we get to Tailgate Talks on Monday.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start off with it right away. We're going to get to Mason Rudolph later. And I have a little things to say about Mason Rudolph. Like Mason Rudolph. But some of the things people are saying, it's like, relax. Okay. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They got their bag. How?
Yeah. Most people would hear they got their bag and think, oh, I wonder where T. Higgins signed. The Bengals.
Well, what? The Bengals, but how? But okay, then that means they're not going to pay Jamar Chase.
But Tailgate Talks crew, how did the Bengals afford that? We don't know.
We don't know. We do not know. Real quick, that's our Tomlinism. We do not know.
We do not know. I can guess though. It's called just not paying your defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said that in the chat.
Okay, just don't pay your defense, I guess.
I'm trying to find the contract. I'm trying to find the contract for both.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
But yeah, I mean, good for them now. But like, and that kind of pretty much confirms that. And they should have did this anyway. But the Bengals will probably go defense in the first round, as I would imagine they should. Because their defense, that's kind of what killed them last year, if you remember. So, okay, let's see if this is correct. Okay, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, that will keep them playing with quarterback Joe Burrow for years to come. Chase will get a 4-year, $161 million deal, and T. Higgins will get a $115 deal. Chase will get a $40.2 million, and Higgins will get $28 million on a yearly basis. So
they're both 4-year contracts, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Alex. In my opinion, this is actually a crazy thing. If you get rid of one of the contracts, those are fine contracts for either of them. But giving both of them those contracts is where I have a problem. Like if they just paid Jamar Chase and they gave him that money, great, cool. Spend your money on some defense, get better defense, and then you got something here. You got to let T. Higgins go, whatever. That's fine. Same thing with T. Higgins. Oh, cool, you paid T. Higgins. But Jamar's probably going to go. Fine. Defense. But now they paid both? I don't know where they are. And Landon's back. All right, Landon, we just got started. We're in the middle of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins stuff.
Great.
So I already read the numbers, and I already basically said, and basically the question I'm saying right now is, how the hell are they able to afford this?
Well, I don't think they can.
Exactly. This is going to come back to bite them in the ass. And honestly, it's that kind of, though I think it'll be better for the Steelers. That's kind of the same question I was asking, paying DK Metcalf, what, $150 million?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to, if you want to keep George Pickens, and Alex loves George Pickens, I would imagine, I'm not too concerned about TJ because I feel like he would take a pay cut at this point.
Stay a Steeler. I agree.
But like, yeah, I mean, boys, what do we think? I mean, I don't know. I don't see this ending well.
Every game for the Bengals is going to 52 to 50 every.
Like, and I said Alex this before you came in. I said, I mean, they should have did this anyway. This probably tells us that they're gonna go defense, maybe first couple rounds, maybe definitely first round, but first couple of rounds, such. Who would even be available for them at whatever pick they're at?
They're going to be middle of the pack, I'm assuming.
Alex,
Yeah.
is it just me or is he very quiet?
Yeah, he sounds kind of muffled.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh,
That's better.
there you go.
That's better. That's better. Yeah, that's better. That's better. But maybe tilt the phone down a little bit because I think he started to. Yeah, yeah, that's probably good enough. Oh, look at that man.
So, just looking at Spot Rack, Burrow and Chase will both be on Cincinnati until 2030, and T. Higgins will be until 2029.
Good lord.
Those three make up about 40-something% of their cap hit currently, or 30-something percent. Yeah, 16, 26. So like 34% of their cap hit is tied up in Burrow, Chase, and Higgins.
That's unreal.
You get to 40% if you add Trey Hendrickson to that as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, didn't he get permission to seek a trade? I thought.
I believe
think
so.
he did, yeah.
Yeah.
So a little more expansion. Chase's is 4 for 161, 112 guaranteed. Higgins is 4 for 115, and it's guaranteed for the first 2 years. So there's 2 void years after. So the first 2 years are guaranteed, and then after that they can restructure Higgins' contract or trade him pretty much with no consequence.
Wow.
So a smarter way to spend that much money, but I don't see how they're going to be able to pay their defense. Like,
they can't.
They're not.
and like you know what the number one response I've heard to that is on Twitter? Oh, but they fired Lou Anarumo. So that was the whole problem then, right?
Right.
That was the entire problem. Everything wrong with your defense last year was strictly because Lou Anarumo was your defensive coordinator. I struggle to find that to be true.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I don't really know how this can, unless they win a Super Bowl next year, which is not going to happen, how this could end well for them. But, nor do I want it to end well for them because I'm a Steelers fan. But yeah, I mean, good for Jamar, good for T, for as people getting the bag at least. So good for them. And yeah, so a couple more things before literally probably one of the shortest episodes we've ever done. Since it's been almost 2 years you've been on, Landon, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because
last year I wasn't on. Yeah.
Because this is technically your first. I mean, yeah, you sent in a video for the last March Madness.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't count. But and well, I guess you could say it counts because you won last year. But
I know.
But a lot has happened with the Steelers, obviously. So 3 things. We'll get to the Steelers later. But the thing I want to bring up first, though, because you are a basketball guy, Luka Doncic.
Yeah. What about him?
What do we think about that trade? Because
I think it's Harrison, right? Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison. Yeah, I butchered. I it's late. I butchered his last name. Get over it, internet.
Nico Harrison might have something chemically wrong in his brain. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. There might be something missing. Something might have happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just to get who? Max Christie?
Anthony Davis, who's still a good basketball player, but for Luka though, it's like, dude.
I mean, Anthony Davis, he's like glass.
Have you seen his Chipotle ad though?
I have.
That's the most boring bowl I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
What the hell, AD? You can't spice it up a little for the ad? Despicable.
Honestly. But
No guac in that thing?
no guac in that thing.
Man,
Unreal. Cheapo, that's what he is.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so now Steelers. So since you've been gone, quarterback wise, Kenny Pickett was traded. Then we signed Russell Wilson. Then we traded for Justin Fields, and we got the same result.
Right.
Where's your stance on Mike Tomlin? Because that's the number one question after another 10-7 season.
So I've actually talked a lot of this with my buddies and people around me, and a lot of people are saying that Mike Tomlin is the problem, but he's not the one calling the plays. Now, he has some sort of influence on them, but he's not the one on the sideline calling the plays. Maybe on defense.
Yeah,
but
I would say probably more so on defense. He is.
Our defense is fine, in my opinion. It's okay. Could be better. But honestly, you had Kenny Pickett back there, and then you had Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and had the same result.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Tomlin's fault. I just think Arthur Smith needs to just open up the playbook. He was calling such conservative plays to where, like, he was just scheming people open for 5-yard outs. And some of the plays that actually ended up in big touchdowns were audibled by either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. So,
and honestly, here's the thing too. Even the last couple years, and anybody in the comments that watches this and that's gonna put, I have receipts. Go back. It happened. Some of the big plays, if you go back and watch, from when Mitch was under center, from when Kenny was under center, from when Mason was under center, a lot of their success, more so Mitch and Kenny, and like you already said, Russ and Fields, when they called audibles, they found their most success. Like, for example, the game winner against the Ravens in 2023, Kenny called an audible and threw it to Pickens. Look at Canada's face. He did not call that. You cannot tell me he called that.
well,
I've never seen an offensive coordinator look like this when his team scores a go-ahead touchdown.
And also, Matt Canada was just terrible in general.
But anyway, this was my take. So I don't think Tomlin helps. Do I think he's the problem? I think it's not just one thing that's the problem. I think it's a whole bunch of problems. I think it's the stubbornness of the Rooneys is what the problem is.
I agree.
So, and do I think Mike Tomlin is a piece of the problem? In my opinion, actually, yes, I do. But I think
he's about.
If you look at a pie, if you make a pie, he's like
pie chart.
He's like here. Rooneys are like here. Then players are like here. Like offense is here. Maybe defense is here. But then Tomlin's like here.
I think the current owner is about 55% of the problem.
Just stuck in their old ways.
I would say that the owner is about 50% of the problem. I would give Tomlin about 30 or 35% of that other 50%, and then the rest to staff players. Because Tomlin calls a lot of the shots, not necessarily on the field with plays, but when it comes to drafting, when it comes to coach hirings, when it comes to trades, when it comes to free agency signings, he's calling the shots on all of that.
Yeah. But
which again just goes back to it being the Rooneys being a problem because they let it get to the point where Mike Tomlin is calling all those shots.
Yep.
And he has his finger is that much on the pulse of the entire team rather than just the coaching aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which we've seen go bad for teams before when Bill Belichick was given GM responsibility over the Patriots, it does not go well. Now, I do think Omar Khan has far more control than any GM in New England would have had if they had one when Belichick was there. But I don't know. They draft some positions very well, and then positions like quarterback. I mean, Christ, we've drafted 2 of them since Ben Roethlisberger was drafted. So,
Oh yeah, that random guy in the 7th round. That's right.
oh yeah,
Um,
whatever the hell his name is, the kid from like South Dakota State, I think.
Yep. Yep.
but
Aladakun, or however you pronounce it.
Chris-
Aludicon.
yeah.
Aludicon, yeah.
But 2 more things. I said after the Ravens playoff loss, I said, it doesn't matter who's under center. Until you make actual change, it doesn't matter who's under center. It does in some aspects, but like you got the same result, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, no quarterback we drafted is going to get developed properly in this situation.
And
Which-
it just,
Mhm.
I think it sucks because for what 20 years, I forget when Tomlin was named head coach, but he had,
07 or 08,
yeah,
maybe
so
06 even.
he had Ben Roethlisberger his entire career. Obviously, a quarterback legend. He never had to worry about the offense because Ben had it. Even with Matt Canada, he was throwing for over 5,000 yards. Like,
Right before that, with Randy Fichtner as our offensive
Oh,
coordinator,
was
he
that-
was
oh,
tossing
I
dimes.
Randy Fichtner. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
still, Mike never had to worry about that. And now that, we're post Ben, he can't find his own way
Because he
to
hasn't had to worry.
building that side of the offense.
He hasn't had to worry about it. But
I'll tell you the moment that it happened. And people won't talk about this, but they're going to eventually. The moment it happened was when Dan Rooney fired Bruce Arians as the offensive coordinator and brought in Todd Haley in
Wow, I
2011.
forgot he was here.
Bruce Arians was our offensive coordinator
Yeah.
when Tomlin won his Super Bowl and when he made his second Super Bowl.
Right?
Bruce Arians was fired in 2011 and Todd Haley was hired. That was the moment that
Yeah.
everything changed. We made 2 Super Bowls in 3 or 4 seasons with Bruce Arians as our offensive coordinator.
Right?
And then Rooney fired him, which may have had potentially some input from Tomlin, for all we know. Don't know for sure, so I'm not going to speculate. But either way, Rooney fired Arians after making 2 Super Bowls in 4 years and brought in the absolute dumpster fire failure of a head coach in Kansas City that was Todd Haley for some godforsaken reason. I don't remember if Haley was the head coach before or after he was in Pittsburgh, or no, he had to have been after or before because when Reed got hired. Yeah, so yeah, Todd Haley failed miserably in Kansas City, and
Yeah.
Rooney was like, we made 2 Super Bowls in like 4 years. I'm going to fire my offensive coordinator and replace him with a failed head coach. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, phenomenal. But one more thing before we get out of here, because I got places to be. Can we please stop saying Mason Rudolph can be an answer? He's not. Like Mason a lot. Loved when he played and saved the season in 2023. And I know Tennessee's a different situation, and Tennessee is awful. And he's coming into a way better situation in Pittsburgh. But Mason Rudolph has not played a full season under center in his entire NFL career. And I know 2019, but Duck Hodges played a little bit too, and he was thrown in there, game 2 against the Seahawks or game 1 against the Seahawks. So technically he has not had a full training camp as QB1, full preseason as QB1, and a full season as QB1. Can we please stop? Am I
Just
wrong?
going to give me Jackson Dart, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
So if you're going to draft
Bring him down the ass.
this
Give me
might be
Jackson
a dumb
Dart.
take. This might be a dumb take. But if you draft Jackson Dart and your plan is to have Mason be the mentor, you're in the same situation you were in 2022 when you drafted Kenny, because you make Mitch Trubisky his mentor, and it didn't work. So I think that's what's going to lead to it if Mason is the mentor for Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, whoever they take. I don't care whoever they take. It's going to be
God, please don't take Jalen Milroe.
But here's the thing.
Please, no.
But here's the thing. I want Jackson Dart.
I want Dart so bad.
If you're going to do it, you have to bring Russ back. And I freaking hate to say it. You might have to bring in Aaron Rodgers to mentor.
Aaron Rodgers ain't mentoring anyone. I'm not bringing him in.
He's
going to be a Steeler. I hate it. He's going to be a Steeler because he's not retiring.
But yeah, real quick, you guys have anything on Mason coming back, which is cool, fine if he's the backup, but like you need to at least get another veteran to mentor, possibly a rookie quarterback.
I think Mason would actually be a fine mentor.
He'd be fine, but I don't think he would. But I think he puts you in the same situation as it did in 2022, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mikey. I'm kind of in the same boat there. At this point, I think we just kind of like, I don't want another bridge quarterback. I hate being 10-7 when we shouldn't be 10-7 with whoever's under center.
Yeah.
It's stupid to me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that Mike wants to keep the streak. At this point,
don't even mention the streak. Don't even mention the streak.
Cares. Sorry. Oh, I swore. That's on me.
What'd you say?
I said hell.
Hell? Oh, hell's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Fine.
All right.
Hell's fine. It's not an F-bomb.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if this was a Christian podcast or
Christian. No. But yeah, we got to keep it rolling. We got to get to the next show, which is going to be their picks, which if you're watching this, you already saw it. Alex, send it.
Oh wait, I was going to give one more take and I forget what it was. So awkward. Send it. Good night, America. Rolling with the beanie toss from now on. It's a thing. Fucking murdered the camera. Jesus Christ.